Overthinking pop culture from a theological point of view, welcome to Swear or Prayer. Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones comes from their 1968 album Beggar's Banquet. It is a song that has garnered a unique reputation. From its creation and recording, Sympathy for the Devil has been troublesome. For those who do not know, the recording of the song was filmed by Jean-Luc Godard, becoming the documentary of the same name. Unfortunately, the recording studio was damaged and the band's equipment destroyed in a fire. Source of the fire was one of the lamps used by Godard's film crew to capture the recording sessions. Despite this calamity, the master tapes for the song's recording were saved. Godard's film of the recording gave an intimate insight into the band's inner workings. It showed that the Stones were very proficient musicians with a solid creative process. A process that was slightly altered in the development of this song. Usually, Mick Jagger would write the words and Keith Richards would arrange the music. For the arrangement of Sympathy, Mick did both words and music. Original Sympathy for the Devil was closer to a Bob Dylan tune, a folk sound. For the Stones, in recording the folk sound, it did not work. The band tried different melodies and timings to get the song right. Where they ended up is described as a samba beat with Afro-Brazilian influences. Whatever you call it, the term hypnotic gets mentioned a lot in reviews of this song. If you mention the devil in any song, certain ears are going to be pricked, along with eyebrows raised and pens. What disturbed the Stones was that simply by recording one song about the devil, they had been labelled as Satanists. You could label the Rolling Stones a lot of things, but Satan worshippers? Perhaps the biggest mud that sticks with Sympathy is the rumour that someone died at a Stones concert while they were playing Sympathy for the Devil. Meredith Curly Hunter did die at the Altamont Free concert while the Stones were playing, but not while they were playing Sympathy for the Devil. This is not to lessen the tragic death of Meredith Curly Hunter, neither does it justify the concert's questionable security arrangements, just that we are trying to distance the song from its performance and that a man of colour was killed in a moment we should learn not to repeat. Origins of the lyrics are often associated with Mick Jagger's reading of certain works, one being The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov and Sympathy by Baudelaire. Most commentators, including myself, find Bulgakov's opening chapter to be closer in association with Sympathy for the Devil than Baudelaire's poem. In any way, the song, its main character, and the themes it lights upon are not uncommon, not just in literature, but also in biblical texts. Genesis, Job, and the Gospels all use the character we know as the devil. Difference between them is that Sympathy for the Devil was written by Mick Jagger in 1968, whereas the biblical texts of Genesis, Job, and the Gospels have many thousands of years of sanctity weighted upon them. Their interpretation is set into religious traditions that cover multiple countries, languages, and centuries. We could get all youth pastor here and say that there was another guy with long hair and had a bad reputation for hanging out with the wrong people, like Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. He was thought of as under the power of the devil. But seriously, that's too easy. It's just too easy. It's Jesus. The answer is always Jesus. What is more important to the discussion about Sympathy for the Devil is to inquire as to what the song is actually asking. Keith Richards is of the opinion that the song is asking the question, who is the devil? With the answer being that we all are. Traditional readings of Job and Genesis have a similar answer. They also follow a similar pattern to the lyrics of Sympathy for the Devil. While the malevolent force or being known as the devil is an instigator, it is people who act and respond in the moment. Eve and Adam respond to the questions, and their actions are followed by swift judgment. Job is a righteous man, inflicted with calamities and illness by the demand of a malicious angelic tormentor. Job's wife tells Job to curse God and die. His friends reply with the logic of their time. Job himself is indignant towards God, who eventually appears and states his authority over those who would question him. Job is then healed, and all that was taken is given back to him. There is sympathy for Job, but none for the accuser. In both Genesis and Job, the accuser has his moment and then exits stage right. When we look at the temptation of Christ, the patterns established in Job and Genesis are easy to see. Here the accuser appears before the divine personage and then tempts the person of Jesus. The accuser prompts Jesus to step over human boundaries and use the divine power for selfish reasons. From there, the accuser boasts that the whole world is the accuser's to give to Jesus. If only Jesus would worship the accuser. People act all day and every day of their lives. Sometimes those actions are bad. For some, a lot of their actions are bad. At the same time, we have an idealized figure of evil, an accuser, that prompts people towards acts of evil. The Rolling Stones were writing this song at a time when the ideas of peace and love had been promoted and had failed. What was evil? Who was evil? We are evil? Well, yes, we are. Every moment that is sung about in Sympathy for the Devil is the result of a moment in time when people have acted. Intentions for these actions ranged from good to highly dubious. The acts of war, murder and chaos Jagger recites were caused by the actions people chose to do. Adam and Eve get judged for reaching for God's knowledge of good and evil. While expulsion from Eden is sad, Cain kills Abel. God appears before Job, asking Job whether he knew about the mysteries of creation. Job is corrected by God that he should understand his place in the order of things. A Christian understanding is that the knowledge of good and evil leaves us with the choices in how we live. We are judged by these choices, and it is impossible for anyone to be pure and perfect before God. Evil lurks at our door and seeks to devour us like a lion. For the Gospels, Jesus is God come to earth in human form. Even though Jesus can bring forth food out of the sand of the desert, he does not. The mystery of the Gospels is that God comes to show a different way to live, one that is more than just good actions, but that for those who have realized their error, to find a way back to God. Like in Job, there is an accuser as an influence or an instigator of the tragic, but action is required. God is God. People are people. The devil can be an excuse for bad actions, but to not have something there as a symbol of that which is associated with evil creates a cultural void and perhaps even a concession towards acts of evil. Like in Job, Sympathy for the Devil lends the devil his malevolence, yet also his weakness. In Job, the devil has to ask God permission to beset Job. As has been pointed out, every act that Jagger documents in Sympathy for the Devil requires a person to embody them so that the evil occurs. Who is evil? We are. And hopefully we are the ones who can decide not to be evil. Sympathy for the Devil is not a prayer or a swear. It is a riddle and a lament all rolled into a hypnotic beat. Woo woo! Woo woo! Thanks very much. This was Swear or Prayer number 3. Like, share, comment, subscribe. If you have an idea for a song for Swear or Prayer, please comment. Once again, thank you and God bless.